The rain hammered against the windshield as Marcus pulled away from the elementary school pickup line, his 8-year-old daughter Emma chattering excitedly in the backseat about her art project. He was exhausted, the kind of bone-deep tired that came from juggling mortgage payments, meal prep, homework help, and bedtime stories all on his own. Since his wife passed 3 years ago, every day felt like running a marathon he never signed up for. But when Emma laughed, really laughed, it made every sleepless night worth it. "Daddy, can we get hot chocolate?" Emma asked, her voice bright with hope. Marcus glanced at the clock on the dashboard. They were already running late for her piano lesson, but something made him slow down as they approached the bus stop on Miller Street. Through the rain-streaked window, he noticed a woman limping badly toward the shelter, each step seeming to cost her everything. She wore scrubs, the kind nurses wore, and clutched a thin jacket against the downpour. Her right leg dragged slightly, and her face was twisted in pain she was clearly trying to hide. "Just a second, sweetheart," Marcus heard himself say, pulling over to the curb. Emma leaned forward, following her father's gaze. "Is she okay, Daddy?" The woman was maybe in her early 50s, with graying hair plastered to her face and determination etched into every painful step. Marcus knew that look. It was the same one he'd worn countless times, the face of someone who couldn't afford to stop, to rest, to ask for help because too many people depended on them showing up. He rolled down his window. "Ma'am, excuse me." She turned, surprised, her hand instinctively tightening on the bus stop pole as if she might need to defend herself. Her eyes were cautious but kind, the deep brown irises reflecting years of hard work and harder choices. "Are you all right? Can I give you a ride somewhere?" The woman hesitated, clearly weighing the risk of accepting help from a stranger against whatever agony was shooting through her leg. "I don't want to be any trouble," she said, her voice carrying a slight Hispanic accent. "The bus should be here soon." Marcus glanced at the digital sign at the bus stop, delayed 35 minutes. He looked back at her, noting how she was trying not to put weight on her right leg. "That's a long time to stand in the rain. I'm Marcus, this is my daughter Emma. We're safe, I promise. Just let me help." Something in his voice, maybe the gentleness, maybe the exhaustion that matched her own, made the woman's shoulders drop slightly. "I'm Rosa," she said quietly. "I need to get to Mercy Hospital. I work there." "You're going to work like that?" Marcus couldn't hide his concern as he opened the door for her. Rosa slid carefully into the front seat, wincing as she moved her leg. Emma immediately offered her a packet of tissues from her backpack. "Thank you, Pequeña," Rosa said softly, managing a smile despite her obvious pain. As Marcus pulled back into traffic, Rosa explained. She was a nurse in the cardiac unit, and she twisted her ankle badly that morning getting off the city bus. "I wrapped it, took some ibuprofen," she said, her voice matter of fact. "I have patients who need me. Mrs. Patterson in 402 gets anxious if I'm not there for her evening meds, and Mr. Chen just had surgery yesterday. You're going to work on that ankle?" Marcus shook his head in disbelief. "Rosa, you need to see a doctor yourself." "I will," she said, but they both knew she probably wouldn't. "I'm the primary caregiver for my mother. She has Alzheimer's. My daughter helps, but she has 2 jobs. If I don't work, I don't get paid. No pay means no rent, no medicine for Mama." The weight of her words hung in the car, heavy as the rain outside. Marcus understood that math all too well, the impossible calculation of survival that so many people performed daily, where choosing to care for yourself felt like a luxury you couldn't afford. "My mommy was sick before she went to heaven," Emma said quietly from the backseat. "The nurses were really nice to her." Rosa turned, her eyes glistening. "I'm so sorry, Corazon." Marcus felt his throat tighten. "The nurses at St. Catherine's were angels. They took care of my wife when I couldn't, when I had to be there for Emma. They showed us kindness when we needed it most." He met Rosa's eyes. "So please, let me do the same for you." At a red light, Marcus made a decision. Instead of heading toward the hospital, he turned into a strip mall parking lot. "There's an urgent care right here. I'm taking you in." "No, I can't," Rosa started. "Yes, you can," Marcus said firmly but kindly. "Your patients need you healthy, not hobbling around making things worse. 30 minutes now might save you weeks of being unable to work later." Rosa's resistance crumbled. Maybe it was the logic, or maybe it was simply that someone was offering to carry her burden for a moment. She nodded, tears sliding down her cheeks. Emma held Rosa's hand in the waiting room while Marcus handled the paperwork and co-pay, refusing to let Rosa even reach for her purse. The urgent care doctor confirmed what they all suspected, a badly sprained ankle that needed rest, ice, and proper wrapping. Working a 12-hour shift on it could have led to a fracture. "I'll lose my shift," Rosa said, panic creeping into her voice as the doctor wrapped her ankle. Marcus was already on his phone. "What's your supervisor's name?" When Rosa told him, he stepped outside and made the call, explaining the situation. When he returned, he had news. "Your supervisor, Karen, says you have 4 days of sick leave you never used. She's covering your shift tonight and says you better come back healthy or she'll come find you herself." Rosa stared at him in disbelief. "You did that for me. You spend your life helping others," Marcus said simply. "Someone needed to help you." By the time they left urgent care, Emma had missed her piano lesson, and Marcus had never felt better about being late to anything in his life. He drove Rosa home, a small apartment in a converted house, and helped her inside. Her mother, a tiny woman with cloudy eyes, smiled vaguely at them from her chair. Rosa's daughter, Maria, arrived home from her shift at the grocery store just as they were leaving. When Maria heard what Marcus had done, taking her mother to urgent care, paying the copay, ensuring she could rest, she broke down crying, hugging him fiercely. "Nobody helps people like us," she whispered. "Nobody even sees us." "I see you," Marcus said. "And you're not alone." As they drove home, Emma was quiet for a moment before saying, "Daddy, you always tell me that Mommy would want us to be kind to people. I think she'd be really proud of you today." Marcus blinked back tears. "I think she'd be proud of both of us, Em." 2 weeks later, Marcus was picking up dinner at the grocery store when Maria spotted him. She insisted he come to the bakery section where her second job was. She'd made him a tres leches cake, Mom's specialty, she explained. She wanted to thank you properly. Rosa was there too, ankle healed, in her scrubs heading to work. She hugged Marcus tightly. "You gave me something I haven't had in years," she said. "You gave me hope that good people still exist, that we're not all just alone in our struggles." Marcus smiled, feeling something shift in his own heart. He'd been so focused on survival, on getting through each day, that he'd forgotten the profound connection that comes from simply showing up for another human being. That night, sharing cake with Emma, Marcus thought about how a single moment of stopping, of really seeing someone else's pain, had changed everything. He'd spent 3 years learning to be enough for his daughter, but maybe being enough also meant having enough compassion left over to help others carry their impossibly heavy loads. Rosa returned to her patients at Mercy Hospital, her step lighter now in more ways than one. Marcus continued his daily marathon of single parenthood. But something had shifted for both of them. They'd been reminded of a simple truth, that in a world that often feels overwhelming and cold, the smallest acts of kindness can be revolutionary, and the simple choice to stop, to see, to help, can change 2 lives at once, the one receiving kindness and the one giving it. Sometimes the most extraordinary thing you can do is notice someone else's pain and choose not to look away.